Hi everyone, thank you Sjoukje for that wonderful introduction about Azure OpenAI. So I'm super excited to talk to you today about how we can bring our own data to Azure OpenAI. But before we're going to do that, I want to dive a little bit in how do these models actually work underwater. We've all been interacting with these type of models by natural language. We have text. That text is being tokenized. Those tokens are being sent to the model. We get a probability distribution of those tokens, and natural language is being generated afterwards. So a model takes n tokens in and produces one token out. And that would be helpful information if you would know what a token is. So a token is not a letter, it's not a word. So in case of OpenAI, a token is a short sequence of letters. For example, it can be we or need, like because those words are very common, very used, and very much used and very short. But it can also be like 3 tokens if you have the word anthropomorphizing. So that is less used, because let's face it, who is using that word? But you would ask, probably, is it saying every time the same thing? Does it predict the same token? And the answer is no. What it actually returns is a probability index of all the possible tokens. So with these new models, Sjoukje talked already a little bit about GPT-4, GPT-3, those models that we introduced. Those models have a new feature, and that is called a system prompt. You can use that system prompt to guide the model in the way you want it to behave. Because we heard from Sjoukje that it's now easier to control what these models do. And the system prompt is one of these methods to do that. So I'm super excited to announce Azure OpenAI on your own data, making it easy for developers to ground Azure OpenAI with your own data. So think of it as a co-pilot maker. Combine a model like ChatGPT, GPT-4 with your own data and an assistant that can reason over your private data. And it does that securely within Azure, where your data is private and you control the access. Welcome in Azure OpenAI Service, the Azure OpenAI Studio. This is the studio where you can play and interact and test out your models. And we see here like three types of windows. I have my assistant. Here I can set up my assistant. Here's the system message where I have been talking about. Here's the way I can interact with the model through chat. And here are my parameters, like the top P and the temperature I've been talking about. Let's ask the model, can you recommend some hiking shoes? Because in this case, for the demo, I am an outdoor retail store that sells shoes and tents and all kind of other fun stuff. So if I ask the model without bringing my own data, it comes up with a lot of wonderful solutions, but I really don't sell these ones in my fake web shop. So what do I do now? I can add my own data here. So this you all can do through the portal. So I'm clicking here on Add My Own Data. And then I have 3 options for the data source. Upload my files. I have Azure Blob Storage, or my files are on Azure Blob Storage, or I can connect directly to Azure Cognitive Search. So this is how the interface looks here. So I'm going to directly connect to my Azure Cognitive Search interface or Azure Cognitive Search index that it has created for me. So I select my subscription, I select my Azure Cognitive Search service, I wait for it to load my indexes. I'm adding vector search here. I will explain a little bit later how that works. I specify the fields where it has to look in, where my content is, and where my vector is in this case. Click Next. I want to use hybrid search, hybrid plus semantic. I also explain later on what that all is. Clicking Next, save and close. And now my data is being linked to this chat instance. Here I see it. And now I can ask the question again. And it should come back with my shoes. that are in my database. So it is looking up some relevant snippets, injecting that into the conversation. And here we see it has found my Trail Walker hiking shoes. And one cool thing it does is it is automatically referencing where it has found this information. So there is a lot going on in Azure OpenAI Service. Like every few weeks, there is something cool, something new. So you can sign up for Azure OpenAI updates. You will get them nicely in your email. Or if you don't like email, you can always bookmark this blog where all the announcements are on. So I want to thank you all for your attention. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you're all going to build with Azure OpenAI Service. Thank you very much.